Israel versus Iran. The ancient roots of a modern conflict seem like natural enemies. Missiles are launched, threats are exchanged, and the world watches with concern. But this rivalry didn't start in the 21st century, or even the 20th. In fact, to understand why these two nations are locked in such deep and dangerous conflict, we have to rewind thousands of years. Let's go back to 539 BCE, when the Persian king Cyrus the Great conquered the mighty city of Babylon. In a move that shocked the ancient world, he freed the Jewish people from captivity and allowed them to return to their homeland. He even financed the rebuilding of their holy temple in Jerusalem. In Jewish tradition, Cyrus is remembered not as a conqueror, but as a divinely appointed savior. Ancient Persia, what we now call Iran, was once seen as a friend of the Jewish people. For generations afterward, Jewish communities thrived under Persian rule. From the Achaemenid dynasty to the Sassanids, Persian rulers allowed a remarkable degree of religious freedom. Even after the rise of Islam in the 7th century CE, Persia, though now part of the Islamic world, remained home to one of the largest Jewish populations in the region. So, how did this long history of tolerance and alliance collapse into today's bitter animosity? The shift began in the 20th century. 1948, the modern state of Israel was established. Iran, then ruled by Shah Mohammad Reza Pahlavi, was among the first majority Muslim countries to recognize Israel. The two nations exchanged ambassadors, signed trade agreements, and even cooperated in secret intelligence operations. Mossad and Savak, the Iranian secret police, worked together during the Cold War. But in 1979, everything changed. That year, the Islamic Revolution swept through Iran, toppling the Shah and replacing him with a new theocratic regime led by Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini. With it came a complete ideological shift. The new Islamic Republic viewed Israel not as a partner, but as a Zionist aggressor, a tool of Western imperialism and an oppressor of Muslims, especially the Palestinians. From that point forward, Iran's foreign policy toward Israel became defined by resistance. It began backing Hezbollah in Lebanon and Hamas in Gaza groups that explicitly seek the end of the Israeli state. Iran no longer saw Israel as a regional partner, but as a strategic and theological enemy. Meanwhile, Israel watched as Iran's influence spread across the region through proxy militias, covert funding, and revolutionary ideology. The two nations weren't fighting directly, but they were now locked in a shadow war. And today, that conflict is more dangerous than ever. Israel sees Iran's nuclear program as an existential threat. Despite Iran's insistence that its nuclear efforts are peaceful, the discovery of hidden enrichment sites and refusal to allow full international inspections have raised alarms. Israel, on the other hand, has conducted cyber attacks, covert assassinations of Iranian scientists, and airstrikes against Iranian positions in Syria. Iran responds with its own tactics, supporting armed groups across Lebanon, Iraq, Yemen, and beyond, targeting Israeli interests through asymmetric warfare. The region has become a chessboard, with Tehran and Tel Aviv as the primary players, and others like the US, Saudi Arabia, Russia, and Turkey caught in the middle. But lost in all this military and political maneuvering is the deeper story, the part few people talk about. A story of ancient friendship, of shared interests, of mutual respect once offered between two proud civilizations. Cyrus the Great helped rebuild Jerusalem. Jewish communities found refuge in Persia for centuries. Even as recently as the mid-20th century, Iran and Israel shared goals, intelligence, and economic ties. Their rivalry today isn't just about land or religion. It's the product of centuries of shifting identities, of power vacuums, of colonial legacies, and deep-rooted fear. And while headlines focus on bombs and politics, the real history shows something far more human, that even the fiercest enemies may once have been allies. Because history rarely moves in straight lines. If it teaches us anything, it's this: today's conflict might not be forever.